A happy new year to you, and may you be blessed with good health in 2022. All other good things will follow. What you see behind me is Hattikuchi, one of the oldest religious sites in Sri Lanka, dating back to the earliest days of Buddhism. A stone inscription declares the site as Kuchi Vihara, dating back to 3 BC, and the hanging rock, seemingly hanging by a thread, is the one on which King Siri Sangabo meditated. The rock looks like an elephant, and hence the name Hattikuchi, derived from Hastikusa or elephant's stomach. Welcome to Kaleidoscope with me, Savithri Rodrigo, with our dose of positive, daring, different. Kaleidoscope with Savithri Rodrigo is on multiple digital channels: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Simply subscribe or follow and be updated. On our show today, a young politician gets candid about leadership. An inventor finds a solution to gas stoves, some good Samaritans of 2021, and lots more to get some positivity into your new year.
Hold your breath in for a moment. Find your calm. This is the Green Embassy Homagama. Invest just 3 million rupees to reserve 0710 Prime Lands Residencies PLC.
Here's our first snapshot for the year, looking back at the week that was. Inflation soared to a record 12.1% in December from 9.9% in November. While tea exports crossed the $1.3 billion mark in 2021, export earnings from rubber, coconut, and cinnamon created history by recording the highest annual income of over $4 billion. Tech giant Apple's market value topped $3 trillion, making it the world's most valuable company. The Birmingham 2022 Queen's Baton Relay reached Sri Lanka this week before heading off to Bangladesh. The world's oldest living person, Kane Tanaka, turned 119, and she was a working girl until she was 103.
We are here to better your lives and champion your every goal. With 12 billion rupees worth of customer benefits in 2020 and a life insurance fund worth over 100 billion rupees, our strength is your strength. You focus on your goals. We will take care of the risks. Srilanka Life.
It's our news capsule on Prime Group Kaleidoscope. Welcome back. The Colombo stock market ended 2021 on a banner year for IPOs as 13 companies raised 12 billion rupees in fresh equity, 14 raised nearly 85 billion via debt issues, and 15 companies got over 23 billion rupees via rights issues. Come 2022, in the first week of trading, the market retained its positivity. The All Share Price Index moved up by 7.5%, and the average daily turnover was up as well to 10.7 billion rupees. This week, gold remained at $1,800 per ounce levels, while WTI oil traded between $77 and $78 per barrel as OPEC Plus producers agreed to add another 400,000 barrels per day of supply in February. The massive cooking gas shortage in Sri Lanka has seen frayed tempers, draconian rules being introduced, and the country going back to a queue era. But here's an inventor who came up with a solution, an alternative to gas, and one that looks quite stylish: the award-winning Easy Turbo Stove. The inventor of Easy Stove and owner of UTech Technologies, Riyad Ismail, who is currently reading for his PhD, reveals that more than 80,000 units have been sold.
And during the last gas crisis in 2008, when the oil barrel hit $100, actually people were starting to use more fuel wood. And what happened was, because of fuel wood, there's a lot of deforestation, and also adding to the 4.3 million people that die each year from smoke inhalation due to these wood stove burning. So therefore, I started researching on a alternative technology to disrupt those gas and wood stoves, and came up with the Easy Turbo Stove.
What's special now about this Easy Turbo Stove?
Yes, so it basically emulates gas cooking. So you can vary the temperature here of your cook. So just like a gas cooker, and you can use coconut shell charcoal or coconut shell or wood chips and burn it here, and you get faster cooking than gas cooking. This is the power pack you plug into your normal socket, and this has a fan. So by varying the speed of the fan, you can vary the amount of oxygen here and thereby the temperature of the stove.
So this is only for domestic use, or what add-ons do you have, and what are the uses?
Yeah, so this particular one is only for domestic use. So you can add a grill here as well. So you can do barbecuing, and you can take this stove anywhere because we also have a rechargeable battery pack. So you can take it out on trips and camping and use it. And also this creates very little smoke or soot. So you can use it in a ventilated room inside your home. And we also have the industrial version ranging from 2 foot right up to 6 foot diameter, which are used for industrial cooking.
Mercedes-Benz unveiled a new all-electric concept car, the EQXX, which goes 620 miles on a single charge. The vehicle is powered by solar panels placed on the roof, and the car seats are made of mushroom roots. And a story for our travel bugs. The Orient Express will soon be returning to Italy. The Orient Express La Dolce Vita is 6 trains traveling to 131 cities across 14 regions in Europe, boasting 12 deluxe cabins, 18 suites, an honors suite, and 5-star or cuisine washed down with award-winning Italian wines. Now, that's my kind of travel.
Hold your breath in for a moment. Find your calm. This is the Green Embassy, Homagama. Invest just 3 million rupees to reserve 0710 777 333. Prime Lands Residencies, PLC.
It is the new year. 2022 hopefully will bring better tidings and a world and country that isn't constantly living in fear and oppression. But that could be a pipe dream. We in Sri Lanka are seeing the results of misguided leadership and lack of governance. We are also seeing our diversity being used as a tool of division, the multiculturalism being used as a weapon to destroy a once thriving nation, and young people being forced to leave a country they see no hope for. With me today is a young man who became the youngest ever mayor in the country at just 32. And he gained this by the highest percentage gained by any candidate in that election. Known to be candid and focused, he was initially a tea taster who qualified in media and communications from Deakin University in Australia and decided to enter politics. Rehan Vijayaratna Jayavikrama is a leader to look out for. He has shown more than once that principles, ethics and governance matter in this paradox isle. Welcome Rehan, and a happy new year to you, and thank you for being on the show. We are in a new year and in a country that is in disarray. As someone in national leadership, what are the immediate steps you will take as a young leader to put our country on the straight and narrow?
I think first up, our dollar rating needs to go up. We need to increase our borrowing, but not from countries like China, where we are going to be stuck in debt traps. We need to increase government revenue, but for all this to happen, the government needs to understand that time is running out, and the more that we are going to continue to borrow from countries like China, the more we are going to have to sell our state lands, which they own anyway.
So what would you do?
Like I said, we need to go to the IMF, but the process on which we need to go to the IMF, it's not as easy as going to a bank and going to a teller machine and putting your ATM card in and getting money out. We need to, even to go to the IMF, we need to meet certain conditions, and that includes human rights and so many different things. And even if we do go to the IMF, the processing time alone, I think, takes about 3 to 4 months, and it will take at least a year for us to get our money. So the way we are going, I think the reason we are not going to the IMF is because the IMF doesn't want to give us money.
We are certainly not in a good place at the moment. What are young people's aspirations and expectations when it comes to our national leadership?
I think the younger generation don't want free handouts anymore. They are not like the older generations where politicians can go and give them a buck packet and get them to come to a meeting and count on them to give you a vote. Now what they want is, not only do they want financial stability, but if you look at the middle class or the upper middle class, and if you ask a youngster what they want, they'll start off by saying they want a good salary. Next thing they'll tell you they want a nice house. Then they'll tell you that they want to buy either a bike or a car. And the fourth, or probably the last thing, is they'll say they want to get married. But out of all these things, it's come to a point where even if you do have a high salary, because of these import restrictions the government has set in place, a person can't even buy a car or a bike anymore. And that's deeply worrying, because I think it's a fundamental right to earn and to spend the money the way you want to spend. And the government has taken that away from the people and restricted the youngsters from doing what they want to do.
We are an island that is an oxymoron. We are united, yet divided. Why?
From S.W.R.D. Bandaranaike's time, I can't fathom how a man who couldn't speak Sinhala, who studied at Oxford, came back to Sri Lanka, thrived on racism, ended up tearing the Chelvanayakam Pact when this all happened, and then it just kept on getting worse and worse. And every single leader, this may be a very controversial statement to make, but I think all leaders in our country over the years are responsible for the mess that we're in right now.
So looking ahead, how would you like to see Sri Lanka in 2022 and beyond?
You know, I represent a coastal area, and I had a very high-profile investor coming in from England. And as soon as he landed, I met him shortly afterwards. And he said, "You guys have such a beautiful country. You can land from the airport and you could go to Nuwara where it's cold. You can then take another 3-hour journey or 4-hour journey and go to the south where you get the beaches. You then again come to a place like Colombo where it's it's busy and people are all around the place, right?" And he's like, "What are you guys doing to this country?" And it's sad. It's sad because not a lot of young politicians want to do politics anymore. Lots of youngsters are now standing in passport queues just to get the hell out of this country. And that's deeply worrying. Because if the youngsters don't make a decision of staying back in this country and getting into politics, we really don't have a future anymore, and that's very sad. And it's also sad because I'm a father of 2 kids, and even I have been thinking, should I migrate? And then again I think, well, if I migrate, what about the future of this country, and what about what we want to do for this country and the good things we want to do? And like I told you, the politicians of this country have really messed things up, and it's taken a toll on the youngsters. It's taken a toll on almost every single sphere in society. And I hope and pray that the leaders of this country will realize that Sri Lanka is not their public property, and that Sri Lanka belongs to not just the Tamils or the Sinhalese or the Muslims, that we have to first identify ourselves as Sri Lankans.
Well, that's a tall order, but at least if we start now, there might be some hope for the future. "2021 was unprecedented, and there was lots of doom and gloom floating around. However, in all this, there were some good Samaritans people rarely knew. Here are a few of their stories in Life in 60. A Senegalese professor carried his student's baby during class to help her focus on classwork, and more to encourage young mothers to continue their studies. A 20-year-old gymnastics coach in Uganda taught street children gymnastics to keep them from indulging in vices and falling into the wrong crowd. In India, a teacher constructed a tree house so his students could have a better connection for online classes, while another changed the street into a classroom during the pandemic, painting blackboards on the walls of houses. And in Sri Lanka, we have the bookman. Mahinda Dasanayake packs his motorbike with books and takes his mobile library through muddy roads to underprivileged children via his program Book&me. Wishing you the very best of life in 2022. Here's our Kaleidoscope takeaway. Be open enough to see opportunities. Be wise enough to be grateful. Be courageous enough to be happy. Steve Maraboli.